Kung Fu Panda is a 2008 American animated martial arts comedy film produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Paramount Pictures. The first installment in the Kung Fu Panda franchise, it was directed by John Stevenson and Mark Osborne. Let's move on to the story. In the Valley of Peace, a land in ancient China inhabited by anthropomorphic animals, a giant panda named Po helps his goose father Mr. Ping run their noodle restaurant, but dreams of fighting alongside the Furious Five, tigress, monkey, crane, viper, and mantis, a group of kung fu masters who live in the Jade Palace, where they are trained by Master Shifu, a cranky red panda. One day, the wise tortoise, Master Oogway, the founder of Kung Fu, and the valley's spiritual leader, predicts that Shifu's former beloved apprentice, the snow leopard Tai Lung, will escape from prison and attack the valley to obtain the Dragon Scroll, a legendary artifact said to grant limitless power to its reader, which he had previously been denied. Panicked, Shifu sends his goose assistant, Zheng, to fortify the security at Chogom prison, where Tai Lung is held. Shifu holds a tournament for the five so that Oogway can identify the Dragon Warrior, the prophesied hero worthy of reading the scroll, and Po arrives too late to enter the arena. Desperate to see his idols, he accidentally launches himself into the middle of the tournament off a chair propelled by fireworks. Oogway proclaims Po the Dragon Warrior, much to Po's and the Master's shock. Shifu believes Oogway's decision to be an accident, and the five dismiss him, so Po considers quitting. However, after receiving encouragement from Oogway, he endures a frustrated Shifu's harsh training and gradually befriends the five with his resilience, culinary skill and good humor. During this time, Tigress informs him that Shifu's distant behavior stems from his shame over Tai Lung's betrayal owing to being denied the Dragon Scroll, as Oogway sensed darkness in his heart, having raised him from infancy. At Chogom prison, Zheng's warnings are ridiculed before Tai Lung uses one of Zheng's feathers to easily escape. He subdues his guards before sending Zheng back. Shifu informs Oogway, who makes Shifu promise to believe in Po as the Dragon Warrior, names Shifu as his successor as the valley's leader, and ascends into the spirit realm. Shifu informs Po and the five of Tai Lung's escape and Oogway's passing, and tells Po he is the only one who can stop him. Horrified by the bad news, Po runs away, but Shifu stops him. When Shifu asks Po why he chose to stay, Po tells him that he hated who he was, and he felt that despite Shifu's harsh treatment, he still believed Shifu could change him. Po then makes Shifu admit that he does not know how to train him to be the Dragon Warrior. Tigress overhears this and leads the five in a secret attempt to stop Tai Lung. Meanwhile, Shifu discovers that Po is capable of impressive physical feats when motivated by food, and successfully trains Po by incorporating these feats into an innovative style of Kung Fu. The Furious Five fight Tai Lung, but he ultimately defeats them with his nerve strike technique, leaving only Crane, who carries the rest back to the valley as a warning. Shifu decides that Po is ready to receive the Dragon Scroll. When Po opens it, he discovers that the scroll is nothing but a blank reflective surface. Believing the scroll to have no power, Shifu has Po and the five evacuate the inhabitants of the valley while he faces Tai Lung alone to help everyone else escape. Trying to console a distraught Po, Mr. Ping reveals that his secret ingredient soup has no secret ingredient at all, explaining that things can become special with belief. Realizing that this is the message of the Dragon Scroll, Po rushes back to help Shifu. At the Jade Palace, Tai Lung brutally defeats Shifu, but he discovers that the scroll is missing. Po arrives with the scroll, saving Shifu's life and prompting them to fight. Po proves to be a formidable opponent, frustrating Tai Lung with his confusing fighting techniques. Tai Lung eventually obtains the scroll, but does not comprehend its blank surface. Tai Lung tries to take his frustrations out on Po with his nerve strike technique. However, Tai Lung discovers that Po is immune to this. Po overpowers Tai Lung and sends him to the spirit realm using the legendary Wuxi finger hold technique, which he taught himself. Po is honored by the valley and the five, and relaxes with a recovered Shifu. Kung Fu Panda 2 is a 2011 American animated martial arts comedy film produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Paramount Pictures. Directed by Jennifer Yarnelson and written by the writing team of Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger, the film is the sequel to Kung Fu Panda, 2008, and the second installment in the Kung Fu Panda franchise. Let's move on to the story. Long ago, the peacock rulers of Gongmen City invented fireworks for peaceful purposes, but their son, Lord Shen, discovered that the gunpowder used in firecrackers could also be used as a weapon. Troubled by Shen's obsession, his parents consulted a soothsayer, who foretold them that if he continued too far down this path, he would be stopped by a warrior of black and white. Overhearing the prophecy, Shen deduced that the warrior would be a panda, and led his wolf army to exterminate the pandas. Horrified by the massacre, Shen's parents permanently banished him. In the present day, Shen and his wolf army raid villages for scrap metal, hoping to build cannons that Shen can use to conquer all of China. Meanwhile, Po is enjoying his new life as a kung fu master alongside the Furious Five, although Master Shifu warns him that he has not yet achieved inner peace. When the wolf army raids another village, Po and the Five intercept them, but a symbol on the leader's armor that resembles a red eye gives Po a flashback of his mother. Po questions his father, Mr. Ping, and the goose reveals that he found Po as a cub in a shipment of radishes outside his restaurant. When no one came forward to claim the cub, Mr. Ping adopted Po as his son. Po and the Five are dispatched to Gongmen City after learning that Shen killed Master Thundering Rhino, a regent of the city, with a cannon. Shen imprisons the other regents, Masters Ox and Krak, and takes over the city. However, the soothsayer constantly reminds him of the prophecy until he learns that Po is a panda. On arrival at Gongmen City, Po and the Five free Masters Ox and Krak, but the duo refuse to help, believing that Kung Fu died alongside Master Rhino. Po and the Five feign surrender to Shen, secretly replacing Mantis with a dummy. The real Mantis frees the others when they are inside the palace, and they destroy the prototype cannon, but Po sees the same familiar symbol on Shen's plumage, which distracts him long enough for Shen to escape and destroy Gongmen Palace with his cannonade. When the masters are safe, Tigress demands answers, so Po reveals that he somehow remembered Shen was there the day he last saw his biological parents. Tigress sympathizes, but fears that Po's lack of focus will get him killed. The Five abandon Po for his safety and proceed to Shen's cannon factory with the intent to blow it up. However, Po follows and confronts Shen, inadvertently spoiling the plan and allowing the Five to be captured. Shen lies, saying Po's parents hated him, and shoots him with a cannon. Badly wounded but alive, Po floats downriver and is rescued by the soothsayer. She tells him about the panda genocide and encourages him to embrace his past. Po, finally achieving inner peace, is able to remember his father fighting off the army while his mother hid him in a radish crate, drawing off Shen's army so he could survive. Rejuvenated, Po returns to Gongmen City, where Shen is sailing downriver with his cannons and army. Po frees the Five, and with the help of Masters Ox, Krak, and Shifu, they are able to wreck the foremost ships and prevent the army from reaching the harbor. Lord Shen fires a cannon, killing some of his own soldiers, to clear the way. Po stands alone against Shen, using his newfound inner peace skills to deflect the cannonballs shot at him back at the fleet, destroying it. Po offers mercy to Shen, but Shen rejects it and attacks Po with a spear. This accidentally severs the lines holding up one of the cannons, and it falls onto the ship, killing Shen. Po is congratulated by Shifu and the Five, and while returning to the valley, Po reaffirms his identity as Mr. Ping's son and his love for his adoptive father. Meanwhile, at a secret panda village in the mountains, Po's biological father is revealed to still be alive, and he senses his son is alive. Kung Fu Panda 3 is a 2016 animated martial arts comedy film produced by DreamWorks Animation, China Film Group Corporation, Oriental DreamWorks and Zhongming Yuying Film, and distributed by 20th Century Fox. It is the third installment in the Kung Fu Panda franchise and the sequel to Kung Fu Panda 2, 2011. The film was directed by Jennifer Yarnelson and Alessandro Carloni and written by the writing team of Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger. Let's move on to the story. In the spirit realm, Master Oogway fights General Kai, a spirit warrior bull who has stolen the Kai from all the other deceased Kung Fu masters. He steals Oogway's Kai, but not before Oogway warns Kai that someone is destined to stop him. Kai uses the stolen Kai to return to the mortal realm and is enraged to find he has been forgotten by history. Meanwhile, Master Shifu announces his retirement from teaching and names Po as his successor. Po's first attempts to teach inadvertently injure the Furious Five, and Shifu, who predicted the calamity, advises Po to teach more like himself and less like Shifu. Disheartened, Po returns home, where he meets Li Shan, a panda who received a sign from the universe that his son was alive. Both quickly realize Li is Po's biological father, and the two immediately bond, much to the dismay and jealousy of Po's adoptive father, Mr. Ping. After introducing Lee to Shifu and the Five, Po and the Five defend the Valley of Peace from Kai's jade zombies, the remains of the Kung Fu masters who had their Kai stolen. The group learns that Kai and Oogway were once brothers in arms, and that Kai saved Oogway's life by taking him to a secret panda village after he was injured. The pandas taught Oogway to give Kai, but Kai learned to take Kai from others for his own personal power, forcing Oogway to banish him to the spirit realm. Lee offers to take Po to the village to learn Kai so he can defeat Kai, while Shifu and the Five prepare to protect the valley. Mr. Ping travels with Po, hoping to drive a wedge between him and Lee. At the village, Lee tells Po he will teach him Kai once he has learned to live like a panda. Kai, hoping to erase Oogway's legacy, steals the Kai of every living Kung Fu master, including Shifu, Crane, Mantis, Monkey, and Viper, and turns them into jade zombies. Tigress escapes, tracks down Po and tells him what happened. When Po demands that Lee teach him how to use Kai immediately, Lee confesses that he lied about knowing Kai out of fear of losing his son again. Hurt by his father's misdirection, Po disowns Lee and trains alone to defeat Kai. Mr. Ping sympathizes with Lee and assures him that Po will forgive him. While training, Po tells Tigress that he hopes to get close enough to Kai to put him in a waxy finger hold and send him back to the spirit realm. Lee, Mr. Ping, and the pandas ask Po to teach them Kung Fu so they can defeat Kai together. Realizing his earlier failure when attempting to teach, Po trains them not to imitate his Kung Fu, but instead to use their everyday activities as Kung Fu skills. Between training sessions, Po and Lee reconcile. Kai arrives with his jade zombies and attacks the village. Po's students fight them, distracting Kai long enough for Po to use the waxy finger hold on him. However, Kai reveals that the technique works only on mortals, then overpowers Po. To save the others, Po grabs Kai and executes the waxy finger hold on himself, banishing them both to the spirit realm. Enraged, Kai furiously attacks Po and begins to steal his Kai and turn him into a jade zombie. In the mortal realm, Lee leads the others to give their Kai to Po in the spirit realm. Empowered and rejuvenated, Po overloads Kai with excessive Kai, destroying him. The Kung Fu masters return to normal and their Kai is restored. Po encounters Oogway, who reveals that he sent the message to Lee, and explains that he chose Po as the Dragon Warrior because, as a panda, he had the potential to become a master of both Kung Fu and Kai. Oogway proudly names Po his successor and gives him his mystic staff, which Po uses to return to the mortal realm. After happily reuniting with the others, Po takes on his new role at the restored Jade Palace, where he trains the pandas and the residents of the valley in Kung Fu and Kai. Kung Fu Panda 4 is a 2024 American animated martial arts comedy film produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Universal Pictures. It is the fourth installment in the Kung Fu Panda franchise and the sequel to Kung Fu Panda 3, 2016. The film was directed by Mike Mitchell, co-directed by Stephanie Mar-Stein, written by Darren Lemke and the writing team of Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger, and produced by Rebecca Huntley. Let's move on to the story. In the Valley of Peace, Po helps Li Shan and Mr. Ping open their new restaurant. Master Shifu then tells Po that he must advance and become a spiritual leader, which means Po can no longer be the Dragon Warrior and must find a suitable successor to take his place. Po struggles to choose the right candidate as he does not want to lose his status as the Dragon Warrior, and he stumbles upon a fox bandit named Jin trying to steal ancient weapons from the Jade Palace. Po is able to outsmart Jin and send her to prison, but a group of mine workers tell him that Tai Lung has returned and destroyed an entire quarry. Jin reveals that Tai Lung's return was masqueraded by a sorceress known as the Chameleon, who can shapeshift into any animal she wants as well as copying various kung fu techniques simply by touching them. With Jin's assistance, Po heads to Juniper City to take down the Chameleon, little knowing that his worried fathers are following them. After encountering a shifty tavern and fighting off the inhabitants, they soon arrive at Juniper City. They are almost arrested and escape to the Den of Thieves, where they receive aid from the den's leader Han, who is also a close friend of Jin. From there, Po and Jin head to the Chameleon's lair until Po is captured. It is then revealed that Jin has been acting as a double agent for the Chameleon. Her task was to acquire Po's Staff of Wisdom, which has the power to access the spirit realm. Po almost manages to escape, but the Chameleon, taking the form of Jin, fools him and throws him off a cliff. He nearly falls to his death, but is rescued by his fathers, who convince him that sometimes change can be good. Using the staff, the chameleon summons every deceased Kung Fu master and steals their techniques, including Lord Shen, General Kai, and the real Tai Lung. Jin reunites with Po, but he refuses to back down from facing the chameleon, so she, Ping and Li head back to the Den of Thieves to convince them to help them save Po. As they battle the chameleon's army of Komodo dragons, Po attempts to reason with the chameleon to no avail. They battle, but when Yun intervenes, the chameleon turns into a chimera of several Kung Fu masters. After the battle, she then shifts into a copycat of Po, fights him, and soon traps him in a cage. Putting his trust in Jin, Po gives her the Staff of Wisdom, with which she bests the chameleon. Po, who was only pretending to be trapped, defeats the chameleon using the staff and returns all of the stolen Kung Fu to their owners, who show respect to Po and return to the spirit realm, with Tai Lung taking the chameleon with him. While returning to the Valley of Peace, Po chooses Jin as his successor, much to Shifu's annoyance. Confident with his choice, Po and the Furious Five help train Jin to become the next dragon warrior.